Hey guys, this is Goku, and on this channel we talk about poker and ideas that can improve your life. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and click the subscribe button because I'll be honored to have you here. This is another GTO trainer session. This is a series where we play different kinds of GTO spots on the WPT GTO trainer. And today we're gonna jump into MP2 Open versus Big Blind Call, which is a tournament spot played on 50 big blind stacks. So let's jump right into it. On our first hand, we have King Queen off on a King 6 Jack. I think this is a spot where we bet 2 or bet 5. Villain folds. King Jack off on a 10-4-5. I think again we bet 2 here. Yep, 68.6% of the time the solver does that. There's a Queen of Spades on the turn. And I think this is a good card to continue betting. And we're gonna bet 2/3 of the pot. And actually the solver prefers over betting here. And it does that 65% of the time. Betting 2/3 of the pot is fine. The solver does that 20.5% of the time. And the EV loss is 0, so that's great. There's a 9 of spades on the river. And I think right by this time we're gonna just shove. And this is the ideal action, played 98% of the time, but the villain folds. So let's go to the next one. Ace 3 suited on a 5-7 ace. Is this a board where we bet 5? Or do we bet 2 here? I'm gonna bet 2. Actually, this is a check, surprisingly, 99.15% of the time. EV loss of betting 1/3 of the pot is small, but we can see the solver almost never does that. We get raised, so I think we're folding here. Let's see. Oh, we're not gonna know because the solver doesn't pick this action too often, so it's not calculated. Let's go to the next one. Queen 9 suited on a 4-7 deuce. I think this is a bet 2. It is. The villain folds. Pocket 4s on 8-6 deuce with 2 diamonds. Let's try checking now. And actually here the solver plays either a bet 1/3 of the pot or a check. Either way is fine, but betting 2 is slightly better and more frequent play. Now the villain bets 2 on the 5 of diamonds. I think we're gonna call this. Yep. And now the villain checks on the 6 of hearts, and I think we're checking here behind. Yep, that's what we should do, and we win. Cool. Ace 6 of spades of clubs on a Jack 6-9 with 2 diamonds. I think maybe this is a bet 5 spot. It is the ideal action, but we can see the solver is doing that only 19.4% of the time, so not very often. 4 of diamonds on the turn. Do we continue betting here or do we check? I think we're gonna check here, or should we rather bet? I think I'm gonna check. Let's see. Yeah, we should be checking here 99% of the time. So yeah, and now the villain leads for an overbet on the 4 of clubs on the river, and I think we have to fold here or re-raise all in, but I think this is a fold. Actually, it is a call, played 97% of the time. How is this a call? Folding is a small EV loss, but we can see the solver only does this 2.86% of the time. Okay, this is an interesting spot, Ace 6. So we have a pair of 6s on the flushy board with 2 overcards. And we're calling here with Ace 6. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Ace 10 off on a King 6-4. I think it's a bet 2. It is. We get raised. And I think we have to call this here with ace-10. Nope, we don't have to call this. We should be folding actually 99.94% of the time. And calling here is a bad play. Minus 1.5 BB of EV loss. And a very not frequent play. There's a jack on the turn. We're just gonna fold here. Pocket sevens on 3 deuce deuce. I think we're betting 2 here. We are. Villain calls. Queen of spades on the turn. I think we continue betting. Yeah. And the villain folds. Ace jack off on 6 queen queen with 2 diamonds. I think we're betting 2. And villain folds. King queen off on deuce tray 8. Again, bet 2. Yep. The villain calls. We have a 10 of hearts on the turn. We're gonna check. And this is an overbet spot. The solver likes overbetting here with our hand on the 10 of hearts. And we see it checks very rarely here. The EV loss is small, but interesting. Now there's an 8 of hearts on the river, and I think we're gonna call this here or re-raise. We're not gonna know what happens anyway, because the solver doesn't calculate such rare spots. But we win anyway versus a missed straight draw. Pocket nines on deuce 7 tray. I think this is a bet too. Yes. Villain folds. 10 jack suited on a 9 deuce king. I think we're betting 2 or checking. Surprisingly, the solver likes to check here 56% of the time and only bets a third of the pot 8% of the time. So around 40% of the time we should be just betting 2/3 of the pot. We get raised, and do we call here with a gut shot? I think it's good to call here. Yeah, it is. Villain continues firing on the river on the turn, but just bets a quarter of the pot. Are we calling here? Are we folding, or are we re-raising all in? I think we can call still. Yeah, we call here 62% of the time. We should fold 37% of the time. Now we've hit our jack on the river. And should we call? Should we raise all in? I think we're gonna call here. Yeah, we should just call. That's the ideal action, but we lose to a king, unfortunately. 7-6 of diamonds on a 7-9-4. We're betting 2. Villain folds. Ace king off on a 10-8 tray. Bet 2. Bet 5 is the preferred play. Bet 2 is a small EV loss, pretty much similar. But we can see the solver likes betting 63% of the time here with ace king. The 2/3 of the pot, or 3/4 actually. Pocket sixes on 5 queen deuce is a bet too. Yeah, villain folds. 9-10 of clubs on a 9-5 tray. We're betting 2 or checking. Either way is fine. 4 of spades on the turn. Are we going to overbet the pot now? Let's try that. Nope, this is a bad play. minus 1.2 EV loss. 99.8% of the time the solver checks here. So I guess our hand is too good to overbet. Here, now the villain checks and we're gonna check behind. Yep, we win versus a pair of sixes. King jack off on a jack deuce tray. We're betting 2. Villain calls. Another deuce on the turn. We're gonna bet 7 now. So 3/4 pot. And again, the solver likes checking here 71% of the time. So I guess it likes overbetting as well. Or betting a third of the pot, but probably overbetting is more frequent. 5, 6, 7 with 2 clubs. Villain checks to us. We've got ace tray of clubs. And I think maybe we should check here sometimes. Nope, this should be a bet too. 72% of the time. Checking is fine EV-wise, but just 7.4% of the strategy. Now there's a deuce of spades on the turn. Villain leads to us for 2 BBs. We're gonna try and raise it here to the pot. And again, this is a rare play. A small EV loss, and we should just call here 98% of the time with our hand. Pocket tens on tray 9-4. I think we're betting 2. We are. Villain calls. We have a queen of spades on the turn. We are gonna bet 3/4 pot. That is the ideal action. Villain calls. An 8 of hearts on the river. Should we bet half pot here for small value, or should we just check behind? I think I'm gonna try and bet half pot here. It should rather be a check behind 97.2% of the time. And actually the villain re-raises all in. And we're gonna call because this won't affect our EV, because the solver doesn't calculate such rare spots. But we can see the villain hit trip 8s on the river. So maybe he would have called our half pot bet for thin value, but we should not be betting thin value on a board like this with pocket tens. We should just be checking behind. Pocket queens on 10, 6, 10. Villain leads. We're just gonna call, as we should. Now there's an ace on the turn, and villain overbets the pot. Are we calling here again with pocket queens? I think so. We are. And now a jack of diamonds on the river. Villain bets 1/4 of the pot. We're gonna call. And villain shows up with 3 of a kind tens. So there's that. Ace king off on a 6, jack 6. I think we bet 2 here. Yes, the villain calls. 4 of hearts on the turn. I think we're gonna check, but maybe this is an overbet kind of spot. Gonna just check. 54% of the time we should check here. And now on a 3 of hearts on the river, villain leads for a 3/4 pot bet. I think we call here with ace king. We should not call here with ace king. We should just fold 99.6% of the time. Yeah, calling here is very rare play by the solver, and it's a minus 0.71 BB of EV loss. so we should just fold. Queen 10 suited on Jack Queen 9. Villain checks to us. I think we're betting 2 here, or checking. Villain calls. We hit 2 pair on the turn. I think we're gonna check behind. Yeah. And the 6 of spades, of clubs on the river. I think we check again. Yeah. We do. And we win versus a lower 2 pair. King Queen suited on King Jack Queen, on King Jack King. I think we bet 2 here. Yeah. Villain calls. Another Jack on the turn. I think we're gonna bet 2/3 of the pot, 3/4, or over bet. I'm gonna bet 3/4 pot. The ideal action is checking, played 34% of the time. 3/4 pot bet is fine, but just 6.5% of the strategy. Villain calls our bet, so I think we're just shoving here, as we should, and we get called by a lower full house, so that's great. Ace 10 off on a Jack King Deuce, we're betting 2, or betting 5. Villain folds nonetheless. Ace King off on a Queen 6 Jack, bet 2 again, or bet 5. We get called, we hit a king on the turn. I think we're gonna bet 7. Yeah, and the villain folds. We played our 25 hands for the day, so let's exit the session. And yeah, not the greatest session, but not the worst one either. Minus 25 BBs per 100 hands. Yeah, we had a couple of this hand, minus 1.4, some smaller losses, but also, yeah, this one minus 1.28. And yeah, we had a couple of those smaller losses, and these tend to grow. So not the greatest one, but so far so good. I think we've played 125 hands so far at this spot, and we're doing not bad, better than on the previous spots. So I'm really happy about that. Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a comment below. Just write GTO or ask any questions you might have. You can subscribe if you're not already, or leave a thumbs up. And yeah, if you want to check out the previous sessions of this spot or others, you can check them out in the links in the description of this video. And also, yeah, if you want to check out the GTO trainer, do that as well. I really like this tool. I certainly have learned quite a lot playing these spots with you. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.